What is going on, everybody? Welcome to lunchtime. It is lunch with the Clydesdale. What is going on? Man, Savon keeps doing these marathon athlete interviews, running into my time. What is going on? This is my time, my house. No, I'm just kidding. Now, great interview with Dallin today. Great interview with Jason on Monday. He's killing it over there. So, yeah, trying to check those out before I come in on this. But man, busy day at the workplace. I am jazzed to be here. We've got Vicky, we got Paul, we've got Corey. Marat is jazzed to be here, just like I am. Morning all. Hitchell Mooper, Meredith, Vicky, totally jazzed. Plant Power Fitness, dinner with Clydesdale, greetings from Europe. Loved your game stuff. Thank you so much. Took me 3 days to finish the Hopper podcast. And what is up, Lido? I get to meet Lido in 2 weeks. Cannot wait. Masters CrossFit Games coming up here in Columbus, right around the corner. If you have not seen already, we have a t-shirt design. I'm getting the final artwork today, hopefully. But I do have it approved. I'm trying to pull it up here real quick. Here is the final artwork for the t-shirts that are going to be made. And it is Get Jazzed. If you can see that, we've got the Clydesdale playing the saxophone. The way the shirt is going to look, sorry, it is really sensitive on the blow-up feature here. Clydesdale, Get Jazzed, right there. That'll be on the back of the shirt. The front will be a pocketed traditional logo. That is a Clydesdale Media logo with the Clydesdale with the barbell on the front pocket. In the back will be the Get Jazzed. Those are the shirts we're going to be making. I'll let you know colors soon. And yeah, should be a fun shirt. We'll do pre-orders. I'm hoping to get some in by the Masters Games, but man, we are getting really tight. But I'll ship to whoever wants them, and we'll get those made as quickly as possible. But love the logo. Love the logo. Caitlin Walters made these up for me. She is awesome. She's also going to be my videographer at the Masters CrossFit Games. So you'll be able to get to meet her there. She's the one that does all my designs, all my logos, all that kind of stuff. She is simply amazing. But she'll be shooting for me at the Masters CrossFit Games. So those will be coming out soon. So Arlene Smith, are you going to Masters Games? I am definitely going to Masters CrossFit Games. They're literally 15 minutes from my house. Cannot wait for that. Cannot wait to catch up with all my people. Love the Masters athletes. Not sure how epic our behind the scenes will be this year. It may be something a little bit smaller, just because I cannot get a crew hired in. I'm really having trouble with availability right now. Do I have media credentials yet? I have not heard back from the Masters team. I talked to Joe a couple weeks ago. He said I would be getting media stuff within days. I still have not received anything. So hopefully we get something soon. Yeah, definitely come say hi to me if you see me. I'll have stickers. I'll have a camera in my hand. Can't wait to meet everybody. Andrew Sten producing my show today. The boys said Castro told them in 2026 will be in Carson. TTT podcast said Tia deliberately dropped the bar on last event to allow Olivia finish ahead of her to get on the podium. Interesting. I watched both of those. I have heard the rumors that the games will be in Carson next year. I've never been there. I'd be excited for it to be there. I just hope we sell more tickets. I know when they went back there for West Coast Classic, the anticipation was the venue would bring people in. It did not. And I'm just hoping that with it being the games, hopefully people will want to go watch it one last time in Carson. And if it is there, I hope they're utilizing both the soccer stadium and the tennis stadium, because I'd like to see some outdoor events. But we'll get into that in a minute. And as for the TTT podcast said Tia deliberately dropped the bar, they said, is it possible? Yes, I think it would be possible that she did that to allow Olivia to get on the podium. I don't think they said definitively that happened. I just think they believe, I think they believe that it is possible. I thought people said Carson isn't a nice place to stay. I have heard very bad things about the hotels. Abby Domit and Ariel Lowen had horrible experiences trying to find hotels around Carson. So yeah, that's going to be a trip too. Carson would be cool for nostalgia, but it's a huge complex. Look at a map where Carson is. If you know anything about LA County, you understand Carson is really, really rough place. Yeah, I've heard that very much so. 20-year anniversary, though, I would think it would be packed. Yeah, I just don't know where we are with everything. Like it's one thing to kind of make these plans, but we don't know where everything is. We just don't. Like yesterday, my monologue was about the CrossFit this year went back to fundamentals. They know who they are. They know who they want to be. And they went back to the basics, and it gave a vibe at the games that was awesome. Now, do we leap out and get back over our skis again and try to do something wild and crazy and move in a direction? Like, I just hope they sit back, think. They have a great start with the 2025 CrossFit Games to build upon that. I want them to build smart. I want them to build logically. I want them to build in a way that makes sense for realistic growth. That's where we're at right now. Don't go jumping headfirst into the deep end again and then get out over your skis and have a hard time maintaining all of this. Yes, the nostalgia of the 20 years there would be awesome. To see like a berm run would be awesome. To see them flip pigs in the soccer stadium would be awesome. All of that stuff. But it needs to be a place where people are going to want to go and watch the event, where they can gather together as a community and do fun things. And we cannot lose the fact that the athletes need to shine and that the programming should be fundamentally sound. The tennis stadium is small, so the crowd would be crazy. I've not been in it, so I don't know. I just know West Coast Classic 2 years ago, it looked empty, and that was bad. San Diego Fairgrounds would be way better. Is that Del Mar, Denise? So yeah, those are interesting topics. I just don't want to get too far ahead. I don't want to get too far ahead. Yeah, Denise says Del Mar. San Diego's Del Mar. Yeah, I would love to see Del Mar. Would love to see Del Mar as an event. That always looked cool on the stream. And speaking of streams, like the viewership this weekend was over 4 million if you add up the streams, the live streams of the events. That is freaking awesome. 4 million. And the vibes in the place were cool. They're it's just what I said yesterday. And I got a comment from Craig Pasley about how his gym was setting up running Elizabeth to do in their gym. And that's what's cool about this year's games. Like, you can go back to your affiliate this week and you can try some of this stuff that we did at the games and try running Elizabeth. God, I would love to try that. Del Mar, I vote for that, Shanna says. I think Del Mar would be amazing. So, Dense updates. It was good to finally meet you in person, Scott. Oh, Jenny, it was awesome. I need to do a better job at being present during the events and not get into my head about trying to create content. Because I had a blast when I went out into Vendor Village to see everybody. I need to be in the arena more, and I'm really going to try to change my thought process on all that for next year. Lido tried running it, Isabel, and it was humbling to say the least. Bruce Wayne, Proven Programming has all the games workouts scheduled for this week. See, I think that's what's kind of cool about this year's CrossFit Games. It's back to the fundamentals. So all of them have the ability to be put back into the affiliate and be a participatory version of the CrossFit Games and to show what the tip of the spear can do compared to us. Judy, it's okay. You all have jobs to do. Yeah, but like, I think I got so enamored with having enhanced access. I wanted to use every bit of it. And I was really there. I had a photographer there and there was me, and I was trying to do all the interviewing content on my own. And I needed to just be a little bit more present with what was going on, because my numbers show that being in the stands and doing the wrap-up shows at the end of the night were where all of my numbers were. And I could enjoy myself a little bit more watching the event, and not so much the vignettes, and maybe more just off-air conversations so that my knowledge base is better. I don't, something like, just, I've got to think about it in this off season. Jody Lynn late again, but sold a big kitchen. What's up, all my lunch friends? Congratulations, Jody. Bruce Wayne, completely agree, Scott, especially with adequate scaling options for all members. Yeah, I was talking with Taylor Self in the back, and on Sentinel, they did the same thing. He put out all of the workouts with 3 scaling options for all of the workouts, for his group to be able to do these workouts, which I thought was super cool. Super cool. Shannon, well, now you know, Scott, it's all learning experience. Yeah. And I had fun. I missed getting to see I didn't get to see Jody. I didn't get to see some of the people in the chat. I just wish I could have seen more people. Jeff Bako, calling it lunch with the Clydesdale is discriminatory against all of us in different time zones who are having breakfast, brunch, or dinner. I'm sorry. It's my lunchtime. I'm having lunch. So you get to have lunch with me. This is my show. My show. Anyway, a couple things I did hear over the weekend was I heard people in the space talk about how the more they looked at the programming, the more they felt like Dave didn't know what he was doing. And I think that is the dumbest comment I've ever heard. And the reason I say that is that would be like going up to John Naismith, the inventor of basketball, and saying that because he picked 10 feet for the hoop and 90 feet for the court, that he didn't know what he was talking about. Dave invented the CrossFit Games. This is his test. This is his test. He gets to make it up. So to say he doesn't know what he's doing is idiotic. It's his world. He gets to do whatever he wants. He invented the damn thing. We're just here to play. Now, if you want to come in and say, hey, the test wasn't balanced, or hey, I wish they would have been in a different order, or hey, blah, 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 all of that is fine. But to say that Dave doesn't know what he's doing is just idiotic. The guy invented the sport. He invented the test. It's his world. We're just living in it. It'd be like going to the NFL and saying, I think you should use a round ball instead of an oblong ball. You don't know what you guys are doing. They invented it. It can be whatever ball they want it to be. It's, again, it doesn't take away from people like Chase and Bill and Taylor and JR doing an analysis of the programming and determining its balance, or could this be tweaked or could that be tweaked? It's the statement that he doesn't know what he's doing. He does know what he's doing because he invented it. Without him, we don't have it. And because he invented it, he can make it whatever the hell he wants it to be. And the beauty of Get With the Programming and Shut Up and Scribble is that we can look at it from an objective point of view and say that it's not balanced, or I would have tweaked this or tweaked that. I think this would have been a better test. But to flat out say that Dave doesn't know what he's doing is ridiculous. And there are people that know that. I'll tell you, primarily who I heard that from were coaches. The names that are coming up in the chat are not the people who said that to me. They were actually coaches. They were actually people that I respect, but I think they overthink things on games weekend. And so this comes out. And one of the coaches knew this was going to be a topic for me this week. And he said he went back and watched all the behind the scenes of creating the games workouts and actually rethought what he had said. And I heard it from multiple coaches. It honestly, Joseph, it was not about whether their athletes were doing well or not. It just is, I think they overthink everything about the sport and they get so emotional about it that they just blurt things out. And I think I just called him on it. And so he went back and reviewed some stuff and came back and said, you're right. And he didn't know what I was going to say. He didn't know it was going to be because the guy invented the thing and it's his world and he can do anything he wants to do. He actually went back and thought, you know what? The guy does know what he's doing as I'm watching him create these things. His statement came from that watching him create it, it felt like more of a team thing than a Dave thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. Again, people say that Dave has too much power, and then he shows that he actually lets a team help him come up with the stuff, and we dog him for that. Like, you can't have it both ways. Again, it's really simple. The man invented it, so it can be whatever he wants it to be. And we have to kind of figure our way around it. And it doesn't mean we can't be critical, but just saying he doesn't know what he's doing is stupid. I hope that makes sense. Again, I think you're being harder on them than I intended this to be. I think it's just they have a lot riding on a weekend. They're looking at the programming as a whole. They're overthinking it. They have an education in coaching and maybe strength building and stuff like that. And they're looking at it in a way that I would never look at it. And when I called him out, he really did go. And it wasn't just one coach, but the one coach I've had multiple conversations with went back, looked at everything, and kind of recanted his statement. People just like to complain. Doesn't even have to complain about Dave. It's just that he's the current topic. Again, these are men, because the coaches I talk to are men. These are men that this is their life, and they look at this stuff in a very detailed way and try to figure things out. And so, again, I think it's just they get caught up in the emotion of everything. So, again, I see people with names in I don't name names. It's just not, that doesn't get me anywhere. Just doesn't get me anywhere. Sarah says, time to switch back to hating on WFP. So they put out a video while the games were going on. I think I talked about that earlier in the week. What a stupid time to put out a video promoting your event. But it was a behind the scenes of Tour Stop 1. And it was really kind of narrated by Lauren Smith. Again, I don't think there's anything new. I thought it was well produced. I thought it was well done. They kind of went through the events step by step. They talked to the athletes. It was all okay. It was okay. I don't think it was anything. It did not meet the criteria I was looking for to promote athletes or to meet the promise they made to be new and creative in ways of promoting their athletes. It didn't do any of that stuff. Jenny says, yeah, they were riding the coattails of the games to boost their numbers. Lame. I think it probably had the exact opposite effect. I didn't even watch it till this week because I wanted to watch game stuff. I put it to the side. I was watching the Sevon wrap up stuff. I was watching barbell spin stuff. I wanted to get all the different opinions of what was going on that weekend to help with my own show. It was I just thought it was a stupid move. You had months to be the only content out there. There were dead periods during the week of when you could have put stuff out there and you didn't. And then you put it out on a weekend where there's a billion pieces of content to watch and take in, and it got pushed in my queue to the side. I don't think their priorities are the athletes anymore. They're in desperation mode. Well, here's the thing. If you listen to my rant yesterday, it is that they have no foundation to build on. Their foundation has been for the athletes, by the athletes, or by the athletes, for the athletes, whichever direction that thing goes. And that's like a Nike slogan. It's a marketing campaign. It's not a foundation to build a company on. So unlike CrossFit, they don't have a North Star. They have nothing to point to bring everybody together on the same page and to row the boat in the same direction. They don't have that. And because they don't have that, they're never going to succeed. They had an opportunity and they've really blown it. Biggest slap in the face was Will posting a pic of the games floor and promoting WFP. I love Will, but that was a bad decision. And I think that he was trying to show the empty seats, but he took the picture after the day was over. There wasn't even anything going on the floor. Like, you're not even good at being bad. So every post they tag is at a CrossFit gym and IG handle, and it doesn't look like the athletes are ever joining the gyms. I always felt like they created it to sell it. I think they just saw an opportunity. They were going in one direction. A guy died at the CrossFit Games. People were pissed off, and they said, here's our opportunity. Let's move all the money over here, and let's try to compete and take the sport away. And they didn't build a foundation. They didn't take time to organize it. They just went and ran, and now they're sitting out here floating in the ether trying to put it together, and it's falling apart. I talked to athletes about it this weekend. I asked them what their opinion of the WFP was, and the only good comment I got in the good direction is the money's good. That's what I heard. That's it. That's the only good thing they would say. Jeff, you apparently know more than I do. I am really confused as to where we are with the sale. Denise, the only reason the athletes are in the WFP is for the money. It makes them have a more comfortable training season to get that money. Sarah, I would like to hear about Saxon's exit. I talked to Saxon, gosh, probably 20 minutes. Really good conversation. He says he's going to come on the show. We had a really good heart to heart. I think I heard Jenny say this morning that he signed an NDA. He did not tell me that in my conversation with him. And I said that I just approached him and said, hey, we need to talk. If people know, I've been friends with Saxon since 2016. I was his judge for Rogue in 2020. I know him. I know his family. And I said, we need to talk, whether it's on air or not. I need to know what's going on. And he talked to me for 20 minutes and he told me the reasons that he's no longer there. I'll respect that. I want him to tell that story and I want him to come on to do it. And he said he would. I just don't know how long it's going to take for him to be able to come on and do that. But I will tell you, he told me that his heart was always with CrossFit. His whole goal was just to get athletes back in the gyms at the affiliate level. And that's what he was trying to accomplish. And we talked, he used to come to my gym and because he lived outside of Cleveland. I live in Columbus. He had one of his best friends went to my gym. Him and Spencer would come down and work out with us on Saturdays. And the gym would just light up when they were in the gym. And I told him that was some of the best times when they would come do that. And he said that's what he was trying to create on a bigger level. Maybe he told me that so he didn't have to tell me anything. Facundo and Plummer were with me. That could be too. Yeah, it was just him and I. So I got a pretty unedited, unfiltered response to everything. I will say everything he told me was very believable and very easy to understand. I will say that. Patrick Clark says he did not sign an NDA. There you go. So he said he was going to come on the show. I'm hoping to get him on soon. I will definitely promote that once he does. But we had a great conversation. I will say that. And so we're in the tea business today, I guess. I did hear some tea. I don't know if Jenny's heard this, but from a very reliable source, Sunday night after the games, at a local pub in Albany, New York, it appears that one Miss Danielle Brandon and one Mr. Matt Torres both appeared at the same pub in Albany and had a very public disagreement. I'll say at the least. Very public disagreement. And that is a very reliable source that told me that. They confronted each other and were very loud in this pub as to what had transpired in the last few months. I wish I was there to report exactly what was said, but I guess it got pretty crazy. So I don't know if Jenny had heard that, but it was wild from what I hear. Did she bite him? No, I think her dog did, but why is she doing this stuff in public? She may have been there first and Matt came in second. I don't know how it all transpired. They just happened to be the person I heard this from was at this pub. They both showed up separately, ended up seeing each other, and that's what happened. Scott, thank you for pronouncing it correctly. Everybody started saying it the other way. My aunt lives in upstate New York. It has been Albany my entire life. I was wild when people started pronouncing it differently. I never understood why. I'm just the old 55-year-old screaming at the clouds, and life changes around me. And I was like, maybe it's changed after all these years. I talked to family members and they're like, hell no, it hasn't changed. It's still Albany. So there it is. I also watched the first 2 episodes of the reboot of King of the Hill last night. And oh my gosh, if a show has hit me in the heart more than that show, it is so freaking funny. Hank Hill went to the Middle East to sell propane and propane accessories, and they moved back to the States, and everything has changed. And he can't believe, and it is so much the old man yelling at the clouds show that I love it tremendously so far. It was so freaking good. I'm 2 episodes into 10. Cannot wait to watch this. If you have not watched it and you're an old man like me, you will love it. Ernie Garza, can't wait to watch it. It is so good. It's so good, Ernie, it is so good. Doug Reed, I'm not even from the States and still pronounce it Albany. Yeah. Albany, yes. Southerners who know Albany, Georgia are familiar with a much different pronunciation. See, I lived in Tallahassee, Florida, which is just below Albany, Georgia. And the whole time I lived there, it was Albany to me because that's what I grew up with the New York Albany. And here in Columbus, there's a new Albany, and it is pronounced Albany. So I've been surrounded by Albanys my whole life. But yeah, tremendous. I guess that's really all I have today. I was going to do my top 5 memories at the games this year, but I think I'll save that for tomorrow because we're coming up on the top of the hour. And I've got to get a major project done. Scott, I spent many years in Tallahassee. Southern Georgia is like a different country. Yeah, Tallahassee may be in Florida by border, but it is so Southern Georgia. And if the people who live in Tallahassee don't even like to be called Floridians, they want to be called Southern Georgia. It is crazy. Crazy. That was like the land where time forgot to move on. New Albany, where all the rich people live in Columbus. That is correct. You know what the craziest thing about New Albany to me is, Judy? I went to watch the Epstein documentary on Netflix, and it starts in New Albany, Ohio. And I was, my mouth dropped to the floor. Dropped to the floor. Because a major billionaire here in Ohio, Jeffrey Epstein, was in his home. And it crazy. Where all the rich people used to live, all the corpse taking over the land. That's probably true as well. I saw that too, Scott. Yep. Very prominent Netflix documentary out a few years ago. Opens up in New Albany, Ohio. If people have not seen it, the owner of Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, they used to own the Limited 2, tons of brands, lives in New Albany, Ohio. But the main business is Victoria's Secret. The owner lives there, and that's where the documentary opens. So yeah, there's some crazy documentaries about that. There are. A random question: would or have you done a podcast with Sevon? Does that interest you? I have been a guest on Sevon about 3-ish years ago, maybe. I don't know, something like that. CK Kevin Les Wexner. Yeah, that's the guy's name. Yep. They actually, it's crazy. They do a big function every year for it's like a horse jumping competition here in Columbus, but they make it a family weekend, and they have like food trucks and carnival rides on the property of their home. And every year they would bring in like a major teen pop band of some sort. So we used to go over because my daughter loves music, and we would see like Nick Jonas or the Jonas Brothers or whatever, and do all that kind of stuff out on the property. And we would go all the time to that event. And it is a massive piece of property, just massive. And so we would do that all the time. And then to open up the Netflix Epstein documentary and see that property as the opening on a show was wild, just wild. Yeah, listen to the man, like and subscribe. Sevon himself right there. So with that, guys, I've got to get back on a project. We are going to do pre-orders on this shirt. I'll put it up one more time. It's the Get Jazzed logo. The Clydesdale playing the saxophone. Clydesdale Media, that'll be on the back. The front pocket will have the traditional logo with the Clydesdale holding the barbell. And then, and this will be big on the back. I just have to get the final artwork from my person. And she will be also shooting video for me at the Masters CrossFit Games. So you can meet Caitlin there. Can't wait to get that out. We'll be doing pre-orders here soon. And hopefully you like them and you buy one. And we'll get those out to you as quickly as we can. 2 workouts have been released for the Masters Games, and we'll get into that for sure with Jamie and Carolyn on Sunday. Again, like Sevon says, like and subscribe to the podcast. And with that, we will see everybody next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.